We are back. It is episode Do It Carcass 121 of the Metal Roundtable. I am Metal Rob, and with me, as always, is the great
Carcass John and Scott Raging Perfect Storm Liquid, not water. He'll let us
H2O.
water. H2O.
H2O. That's right.
And
That's right.
and
That's
we got a
right.
special guest today. Yay, Alex Vinci.
Hello. Thank you,
Oh,
guys. Thanks for having me.
and you must
Absolutely.
it must be awfully early or awfully late where you're sitting right
Yeah,
now.
it's super late. It's 11 p.m. here,
Okay.
and we are hidden in my recording studio in my property in the house, and so my family is sleeping in the other side of the house, and I'm here having fun with you.
Well,
Yes,
So
try not to get you too excited so you don't wake anybody up.
that's right.
no, no
He said he
worries.
was
Is
going to yell
everything
at
come
her.
through? No,
So
it's okay. I can hear.
So Scott, how did we? Alex and I were trying to figure out. Well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do today. For the very first time, we have somebody on that we really don't know much about. And I don't mean that to be weird or rude or embarrassing or anything, but the video came across my desk. I don't remember how Scott and I got in touch with. Did the PR send you an email, Scott, or did that?
Yeah, the PR sent me an email, asked if I was interested in having them on my No Light to Metal channel, but I thought it'd be cooler to have them on this channel just because this is the more kind of thing we do, as opposed to my CD review channel. So that's kind of how that worked out.
That's right. You sent me the link to the video.
Correct.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Mystery solved. So we started getting some emails from Alex. He is in Ireland from Italy. And the video I shared a couple of weeks ago is called Glitter Slaughterhouse. And it is the second single from the new album coming up. I believe that I'm getting that right. But
Correct.
the thing that I really liked, well, first of all, I'll continue what we're going to do. For the first time on the show, we're going to get to know a band live on the show. We have heard one or two songs, and so we're going to get to know the band. We're going to promote them to you, and I hope you'll dig it like we dig it. What turned me on to it was when Scott sent me the video. I love melody. We've had thrash bands, and we've had death metal bands, and we've had 80s style metal bands, but man, this is a down-tuned melodic machine, and it really caught my interest. And so I pumped the other two guys up, like, hey man, I dig this, what do you think? And so we shared the videos around. But anyway, here we are, Alex. Thank you for coming on the show. We are so glad to have you. And so tell us about the name. I already know what you're going to say, but tell us about the name of the band.
Okay, the last Vinci is actually is the name of me because I am the last of eight siblings. So is I'm the number eight of the first generation of Vinci. So and reason why I decided to to use this name for my band, and mainly this is the reason why I decided to call the band like this. Also because is a kind of it was sounding so great, so I say okay, let's keep it. I mean, also it was meaningful to me, so and it was not specific, nothing related to the sound, but mainly related to the meaning of who I am. Because at the beginning of the last bench, I started on my own completely. I was in another band in Italy before moving to Ireland, and our band was we were rock music. I was going around. I actually, guys, I had the pleasure with my previous band called Non-Conventional Sound to open for Deep Purple. So, and it was an unreal experience. And anyway, the and during the recording of the second album of the band, I was feeling the need to start writing in English and to start writing my own thing. So the last speech started in that way. So
Oh, that's very cool. How long have you guys been around?
I mean, we the first album went out in November 2014. So it was the first record, and we're around since then, and we released one EP then after that in 2019, and now we're gonna have this second LP that is getting over on the 4th of March. And in the meantime, I mean, a lot of things happened. I mean, I built up also another band called Order of the Mess, and it was a stoner duo. Then I started to be a manager on an incredible band from Ireland called By Curious. 6 months ago, we started a recording label called Narodo Records. And yeah, let's say that we are busy enough. And of course, in the meantime of all of this, I got married, I have 5 kids, and then, but this is another story. So
That's awesome. Now, you were telling me, we were talking about what I liked about the song and the video and everything before we came on. So tell us about the evolution of the music, because one of the things that we were talking about before we went live was, yeah, it's the metal roundtable, and we've had all these heavy metal bands and all this kind of stuff. And I told you that I got kind of a metal vibe from it. But you guys don't really describe yourself as a metal band, but you kind of fit in. Talk about that.
yeah, it's a kind of a weird thing because anyway, I mean, the evolution of the sound is for sure related to um, the kind of experience that I had during the last years, in particular with the duo that I had, Order of the Mass. It was more stoner, I mean, more heavy down tune uh, kind of stuff, and also, I mean, the influence with the band that I'm at the moment I'm managing called By Curious, that is, they are a math rock experimental band. They are just simply phenomenal, and they had a lot of influence on the way how we were. I mean, we were writing the songs of this new album, and then of course there's. I mean, at least for me, but also the other guys are very similar to me. But for me in particular, I mean, my background is coming from Metallica, guys. I mean, it was the first band that I heard that it was actually with heavy guitars were Metallica. It was in my fourth grade. I was 10 years old. And I used to, I mean, I grew up in a family where most of them were musicians and all coming from a kind of classical environment, kind of classical background. And I mean, I was saying to Rob before that the heaviest thing that I heard before getting the Black Album was Latin Christian music. So it was kind of a weird thing. And when I heard, I mean, Enter Sandman, I was like, what the hell is that? This is heaven. I mean, this is unreal. And I also had kind of conversation with my siblings, in particular my older brother, that because Metallica were coming over to Turin, I really wanted to go to see them when I was 10, 11, and my brother told me that metal was the devil, you know, and I don't have to go to the gig. So, and I grew up saying, Jesus Christ, why is the devil? I mean, I love it so much; it's so good. And anyway, I didn't go to that gig, but I had the chance to go to see them afterward. But anyway, yeah, I can say this is funny because also here in Ireland we have a huge support from the metal scene, and despite we don't think to be a metal band, and we are not actually a metal band, but of course we kind of I mean, we love all the kind of kind of collaboration and support that the metal band has and have, and so this is amazing that we got in love and we can have a gig, one weekend with with a metal fest and the other day with the post rock bands, and everybody's inviting us, and that's amazing. We really love that. I mean, we really love to be friends with everybody. As soon as, I mean, until we can play some rock music. So happy days.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you boys want to ask, Scott?
Well, I was going to say, when I think of Italian metal per se, I think of bands like Bulldozer and Hideous Divinity, and I don't know, Schizo was another like a killer old thrash band. Necrodeath was one of my favorites, and but you guys have created even a different genre than any of those bands. And in fact, when I was listening to I listened to Nemesis, Gallo, um, and I think Glitter Slaughterhouse is probably my favorite track that I've heard of all your, because I had to do a little crash course in brain surgery, and but you have a ton of influences. There's you said you have kind of a stoner vibe too, even, and I can hear you pulling influences from all those. Like IAH is a band from Argentina that's very heavy and melodic, but a lot of guitar driven. Elder from the United States, you've probably heard of them. You have they're very melodic, but super, super heavy. There's a band called Dope Lord from Poland that has a similar the Restone from Russia. But I actually heard in the chorus that they say you say fear's the biggest lie. Is that Gallows or is that
Gallo,
Gallows?
correct. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
fear's the biggest lie. I thought that sounds like Motley Crue. That sounds like a Motley Crue riff. So I thought, man, this dude really is all over the map because Rob and I had discussed it earlier today, and he said, I don't even know how to describe it. It's sort of a happy music, but it's got meaning. It's happy without being sappy, which is an English. I don't know if you know what that means. It just means kind of like cheesy or too sugar
I
coated or whatever. So I don't think there's anything wrong with positive. So, but your music has an interesting, like a melodic trend to it. But I can definitely hear you drawing from Motley, Metallica, Paganini, whatever. I mean, it's kind of exciting to hear somebody mix all these together because that's kind of what I used to do. Like you, my mother's a classically trained musician, world class, uh, but I heard a lot of keyboards in the house, a lot of flute and violin and whatever. My sisters all played, and here I wanted to be a rock. I heard Deep Purple for the first time and Black Sabbath for the first time, and I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I'd rather play. Um, so kind of like you hearing Metallica, we sort of just fell off the road, but we still are cognizant of our musical roots, so to speak. So anyway, it was interesting for me. So so what is your new direction? I guess is or are you just gathering pieces and just throwing them into the pot? I mean, what is your vibe there?
tell you that a lot of the sound that we have is for sure driven by experience. I mean, in the life. Let's say this. I mean, we're not. I mean, decide to say, okay, now we're gonna do this in this way. Is actually it's gonna be like that. So is most of the time is the kind of because of my problem of my classical kind of pop background or and then the discovery of heavy music. It's for me it's very important to try to express in a heavy way something that is very clean in a way. Okay, so you were mentioning the fear is the biggest lie is a huge anthem, is a statement, that one. So also because it's something that is we are all driven by fear, in particular in the last 2 years, and everything was saying to you to stop it, and so to stop to do everything you like, or anyway to don't try to follow up not your dreams but in general, your projects and your things, and the kind of say it was kind of a way to say to us, okay, fear is the biggest lie, and we needed to find a way, also including, in the song we have samples that are clearly coming from the influence of that band I was telling you, it's called by Curious, that they use a lot of samples in their songs, and we wanted to try to we had, I mean, this kind of idea of make an open call to our fan base to say to them what we are not doing because of fear. And we didn't expect to receive so many, I mean, messages, and we got so many texts about that, and we tried to put it all together in the song. So, and we needed to have a catchy heavy riff, and we tried to build it in that way. So most of the songs are coming from that kind of approach. So is and then I tell you, I have this kind of huge problem that is not a huge problem, but it's a nice thing. When I was in the duo, I used to have, a triple amp setup, so a bass amp and two guitars amp playing together. Okay, so when I moved back to the Last Vinci, I didn't change that setup. So I actually the heaviness is coming out because I have a wall of amps behind me, and it's simply unreal. And including the bass guitar now, it's just phenomenal. So I try to be. I mean, I would like to be more, calm, and I mean not to be too much heavy, but it's stronger than me. So
You don't have to be, Alex.
uh,
It's all good.
now talking about direction, anyway, the thing is that we have other 13 songs after this album already almost ready. I mean, to get for the new album, because during the pandemic we wrote 24 songs. So we're gonna be able to release another stuff in 2023. Everything is going well, and so the kind of direction is, I'm writing a lot at the moment, a lot with piano and ukulele as well. But I'm planning to implement still with a kind of heavy approach, because it's me. It's kind of I'm struggling to, because then the thing you were saying, to don't become sappy, or to don't get to the kind of moment that you get cheesy when you're writing songs, because I'm still Italian. I start the romantic way sometimes, and I need to be very careful about that, because in a way it's always behind the door to become a kind of a joke of myself, and so it's a kind of a battle every day. But thank God I have my bandmates, in particular my wife, that when I'm writing something too much, she's like, "Come on, please, put that in the bin. Come back with the riffs, okay?" So I'm in the safe hands. So
Scott, have you got anything on your mind?
Not necessarily. I was kind of curious. Are you guys playing out live, or are you going to play out live, or is it more of a studio deal?
no, we're gonna play live stuff. No worries. I mean, we're just waiting for. I mean, in particular, Ireland and Europe, and we're still in the kind of the mess of the pandemic with restrictions and things, and so I cannot tell. I mean, or maybe I can say live that something is gonna happen very soon. Maybe an announcement of a tour. Maybe you know. So yeah, we're gonna tour hopefully very soon. So,
So,
but I don't want to spoil too much. So
so how do people get a hold of your music? I mean, are there physical copies available? Are you on Bandcamp? Can we buy a
yeah,
download?
we are on Bandcamp. Absolutely, we just I mean put on pre-order. Our album is gonna be out on the 4th of March, and gonna be vinyls. It's gonna be CDs with T-shirts, and yes, we're just waiting. I mean, waiting to come back on the road, and actually, at the moment, I mean, the online sales are going pretty well, and people are reaching out, and the work on the PR has been done so far on the music is bringing out a lot of crowd, and we're very happy. We can't wait to go, on tour to finally see physically people, and we had the chance to have 3 gigs in November, and they were phenomenal. They were phenomenal because of that vibe that is, I mean, we is so much missed by everybody, of being on, in at the gig and having fun, drinking a pint and headbanging all together. So
That's right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I put the link tree up on the Metal Roundtable
Okay.
Facebook page. So yeah, you can get to Bandcamp and you can find all the stuff there. I just put that up a couple of minutes ago. So that hopefully we can drive some traffic that way. Once again, this is the Metal Roundtable. It's episode 121. Just to reset a little bit, we've got Alex from the Last Vinci with us. We're going out of the box today as we get to know a band for the very first time. We know very little about the Last Vinci, but we've seen a couple of cool videos. And so Alex wanted to come on, and here we are. So, Alex, I kind of want to dig into, in particular, with Glitter Slaughterhouse and the new video, which, hang on, I'm not going to fuck up the name. Falling from a Mountain of Joy. Okay. So, in particular, those two songs, and I've heard Gallo, and then I've seen some of the other stuff too, but with those two songs, I want to dig into the meaning. I'm always interested to know what you're thinking whenever you write the lyrics. Is there anything in particular are you talking about? Are you writing to fit the song? Because to me, it seems like you're trying to, maybe you've overcome some struggles, or maybe you're reaching out to help somebody, to overcome some struggles. Tell me where your head was at in the writing.
I mean, about the two songs, they're absolutely two different meanings, but the kind of connection between the two is, for sure, is a kind of a song of struggle, because they're both songs of struggle. Because in particular for the Glitter Slaughterhouse is talking about the kind of, you know the kind of place where everybody stay that is feeling safe, but most of the time is it's just a place of safety, but it's not happiness. Okay, so if I was just talking about where I was at the time, where I was starting to have, for no reason, kind of panic attacks in an environment that was very safe. Okay, so there was no reason to be kind of scared or anyway with anxiety. And I when I put down that words, it was mainly to try to represent the kind of way, to that I was feeling at the time, to not being able to run away from the kind of safety, but I mean, deep inside, and I'm still struggling with that kind of, not able to leave that kind of cage that I created with my hands. Okay. So it's a kind of, and in the song, there's a reason why it's called Glitter Slaughterhouse, is because, outside maybe it can look kind of, shiny and glitter and all this kind of lovely, cool, that in terms of appearance, they look like that. But inside it is really a fucking slaughterhouse. So in that case is and also the idea of the video that it was, also completed by Crude Media, that is an amazing director here in Ireland, and of try to create the kind of steps of until the end where we are covered on blood, and it was just trying to represent that. And instead of falling from a mountain of joy, and that one is definitely our favorite song of the album. And for me, is of course the lyric is something really really intense, and I'm still, I know probably because I'm Italian, I don't know, but all the time that I'm still listening to that song, I'm still, I'm trying to don't panic too much, because I have the feeling, really, I'm getting very emotional about that. And it's talking about, again, kind of, in the video, there's is a kind of a loop, is an animated video that we actually worked so long about that. So with an incredible artist called Neomation, and we want to try to, kind of represent the kind of looping situation where, again, similar to Glitter Slaughterhouse, when you are, there's no way, you're always looking for something, but in the end of the story, you're falling also on the same issue. So, and you're still, standing up to say, I'm gonna make it. When all the things around you keep saying, no worries, everything is gonna be all right. Why you're so stressed out? But you keep doing it. You keep, falling from a mountain of joy. So, and this is actually represented a particular moment of my life where I wasn't able really to try to get over. That kind of, stress stressful feeling to, I like, I didn't accomplish enough. So, and but in the end of the story, I always love is always the thing that save us in a way. So, and also the love of the people around you, and the people that, and also the music, and they just say, come on, do the stuff and don't get too much stress about. So, and mainly are the reason of, always talking about kind of, the album is called The Revolution Is Made Together. Also, in these songs, we're talking about some struggles of people that try to do the things on their own instead of asking for the kind of community to get, to get help, to get kind of involvement, instead of thinking about of myself only. Also, because in this album we have a lot of collaboration with many, UK and Irish artists. So also the reason why we wanted to call the album in that way, and also it's been, completely founded by the overall audience with a fundraising campaign. So it was a kind of an unreal thing. So, and mainly is that I probably am losing the plot now. So, so
No,
and
No, you're fine.
yeah, you're fine. I'm always interested in.
No talk.
I'm always interested in what the lyricist was thinking when they wrote the songs, because I've not written much in my life, a couple of albums worth of stuff, but when I wrote some of the stuff that I did, and the band shall remain nameless. I don't want to talk,
Uh,
but at the end, the last stuff that I wrote was very personal to me because things were changing because I've struggled with depression and anxiety in my adult life. And so I really think that not only did the music catch me, but when the lyrics were posted there on the YouTube video, when I started reading, I was like, wait a minute, I think I see one of my own here. I think this is somebody that's got some anxiety or something, because that's where I felt like it was coming from. So very familiar to me. And so I felt like I connected kind of in that way. And that's why I was telling Carcass, I said, man, this is kind of happy. This is kind of positive. This is going to be, a different spin on heavy music, so.
Well, and Alex, you may notice that we all have a pen or a pencil in our hand, and you may see us look down, but I'm writing notes. In fact, that's very profound. I'm in a place of safety, but not happiness.
Yep.
And I can only imagine that after the last several months, 2 years, whatever, going on 2 years, that I guess we felt safe in our houses, isolated from the rest of the outside world, but were we really happy? And I was telling Rob that I went to an actual live show, like you suggested that you played back in November, where you felt the vibe. I actually went to a live show, and people were just so happy to be interacting with a real human being and not the TV or not someone on a Zoom meeting or a conference call somehow. So I see what you're saying. So to me, that's gotta either inspire or really twist your brain around some musical ideas, and hopefully, and I know most bands, back at I just I got was just talking to our friend Poser Mark in Houston, and we were talking about how bands used to tour 8 or 9 months out of the year and write on the road because their perspective was different than when they were just stuck in a studio. So by the time they had all these songs written, they could go into the studio, knock them out, rest up, and then head back out on the road. It's a very different vibe nowadays because obviously, I mean, I don't know. Have you made the decision, or has the band made the decision that we're going to give this our best effort and see if we can actually make music and make a living at it, or is it something you just do for fun?
I tell you, I mean, I always say that to the guys that I'm working with, and that money are always the consequences of music. Okay, never the goal. Okay, so if you are doing music only for business, sometimes it can be frustrating, in particular in a moment like this one. Okay, so it's very important, to, of course, I mean, everybody would like to have, I mean, to do music only, I mean, as a living, it would be fantastic. Also, I mean, we need to be conscious that, time are changing in a way. And also a lot of bands or artists that are doing music, uh, I mean, with music is their living, is they are not touring a lot in a way. There are a lot of big artists that they are getting money from the streaming services. They're getting money on the online sales because the music environment is changing on that. And also, you were mentioning the story of being on tour for 8 months in a row, writing on the road, and I mean, it was kind of a thinking that we're gonna be back to that. It's kind of romantic in a way, and I really hope in a way that we're gonna be able to be at the stage that is going back like that. But I think that, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna happen again, but for sure we need to change with the time in a way. Because if we start to be too much close with what was before, and a lot of bands, I mean, a lot of artists that I know, they stopped to do music because they changed the way how the people were doing that before. So it's that, I mean, for us, is still a goal to try to make this as a living, but it's not our first priority, of course. I tell you, man, I mean, as a father of 5 kids and working full time with 2 different jobs, it's intense to keep doing that. But it's so, I mean, it's a gift every day to keep doing this, and it's unreal. I want to try to keep doing it. I don't want to give up because of the pandemic, because the things are not like they should used to be, and everybody should have. I mean, like to be making money when touring. I mean, if we're gonna now at the moment is we're gonna be on tour, it's gonna be unreal. It's gonna be fucking memorable, and this is the thing. So and also the story of the vibes that I was telling you about the gigs in November. I don't remember. I mean, before 2019, that before the beginning of the pandemic, that people, in particular the audience, sometimes you can get, in a kind of situation that the audience is like the judge. Okay, so everybody's looking at the band and looking for, okay, yeah, it's good, yeah, it's cool enough. Oh, if I don't know, I don't like it. Last times it was like, Jesus, we are together. I mean, that's the thing. And everybody, and also the bands. I mean, there was a kind of love in the air. It was a kind of vibe of let's do it again as soon as possible. So, and this is something that I don't know probably. I mean, because I never lived that before, but I think that it's something incredible. Maybe the future is gonna be better than we expected on this because it's changing the kind of approach of the people on approaching music.
Awesome. So what would it take to get you to the states? You
Oh
said you have
man,
s-
I
you,
mean,
you said you have
Money,
some
a working
connections
visa.
besides
money.
La Plata.
Uh, Man, I really hope that we're gonna be able to get know much more in the U.S. and to have the chance to, I mean, to get there because I mean, with Naruto Records, I mean, we are working on that for some of the bands of the roster, and I really hope that we're gonna be able to open some, collaboration in the future for there. Of course, then there's a lovely working visa to get there to have a tour. So hopefully, finger crossed. I mean, we're gonna make it in some way, and I will come over to visit you all. I tell you, if we're
Right?
gonna make it, I'm gonna come over to visit you all.
Mi casa su casa. Come on by.
Happy days. We lost you, Rob.
Hey, Rob, we can't hear you.
Ha! I muted myself.
Well,
I'm the best
at least
producer
you
in the
pushed
history of the
at least
world.
you pushed the button to put us on the air, so that's you're
It was
forgiven.
a nice moment.
I win. Okay, what I was going to say is, yeah, if you make it to Texas and you get anywhere near Dallas, we'll have to twist Carcass's arm to have you play in the living room, which sounds funny, but we've had a couple of bands play there, and it's pretty sweet. We come in with a little stereo mic and we record it and do kind of a live in person for just the
Broadcast,
three or
yeah.
four people, and we did one with a metal band from Dallas, and it came out quite nice. But I mean, it's not super
I can't
professional.
wait
It's
for
not,
that, man. I really love
Let's
this
go.
kind of
Let's do
live
it.
stuff.
it was really fun. And I was gonna say, and I've covered up my question here. Crap, I don't remember. Okay, so I wanted to see what the other guys thought about the video because when I watched the video for the first time, there were several things that struck me. First of all, I thought the vocal effects were really cool. I really really liked the melody. I thought the concept of the video was pretty slick about, it was pretty simple, but it was kind of cool and dark. But then that riff just bludgeons you, just hits you over the head after this, beautiful melodic part, and then bam, that riff. So I don't remember if you said this live or before the show, but you kind of knew you had something when you came up with the riff. I mean, that must have just exploded.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible because the origin of that song is it was in a kind of the few relaxed moment I had with my family. We were outside in the countryside, and I really that riff came over to me. Like in particular the loop, that's what it was actually started in my head, and I had the problem that I didn't have anything to record that, so I spent the weekend just doing like this and I writing on top of the riff. So when I started to do it with an acoustic guitar, I say, Jesus, this sounds unreal. Then I mean I proposed that to the guys, We started to practice that, and as soon as we, I mean, understood how to make it start, and it was just really, it just blew our mind. And it was incredible, like an explosion. Like, whoa, what the hell is that? It's our song. We don't believe it. So, and yeah, it's actually the riff that is opening most of our shows, and so is we are very very proud of it, and we are still, all the time that we're watching the video, we listen to the song, we still struggle to believe that it's our song. So I say we did something fucking nice. So, and
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, Carcass, what did you think about the video when you saw it today?
I mean, I like visual, but I really, like you said, it's all about the riff to me. And as we mentioned with when we had Dave from Havoc on here, I saw them actually tour as a 3-piece, and he had never seen himself as a lead player, but he is. We know that he can riff, right? And so I'm always honing in on that. But I like the visual part of it. It's once again. If there's too much cheese then on the hot dog, I don't like it. But it was just enough of a visual splash that it fit the music perfectly, and I could see that it was like descending. You started off kind of happy and everything, and then it just starts to get heavier and heavier, and it emotionally it strikes me. And I'm sure that that's the purpose of the music, is to get some sort of a reaction. Obviously, you don't want people just to stand there and go, "Yeah, that was cool," but you want people to react and to feel it. And so I listened to that thing. I listened to it 3 times, and I still feel like I need to go back and watch it again.
Well, the riff is infectious. I bet I played it 10 times before we came on. Just that
well, and I was trying to
get it out of my head.
I was trying to kind of like baptism by fire and get a bunch of hear as many songs as I could, just to get familiar with, because I knew that you had kind of a broad spectrum of music. And then Rob had mentioned that you had conscientiously made this, taken the idea of changing your sound, but I don't really know that you changed it as much as you evolved into something that was you dragged all those elements with you into something even more dynamic, so to speak.
Yeah, even more creative than.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought, and I may have misremembered this, but for some reason I thought when I was reading up on the band that they had made a conscious decision to change their sound. But I think what he was describing about the evolution of the sound, that makes sense.
Well, and I'm still tripping out about hearing a Motley Crue shout harmony vocal in a song that, because it took me by surprise. But then I went back and I listened to it again, and I thought, man, they've hit on all these little genres that I look. All they need to do is hit on Osric Tentacles, and we've got
there it is.
There it is. Someone had to say it.
Bingo.
All right, we got to ask. Do you like Osric Tentacles?
Have you ever heard of the band?
Have you ever heard of that band?
I've never heard about the band.
Okay.
So I have to send me the link, Rob. I have to listen about that.
Okay, they're from the UK, but they live here now. But they're one of my favorite bands, and we have to. That's what we have to talk about. We have to throw that out there just to make Rob. Just to make Rob crazy.
121 episodes, and he's probably mentioned Osric Tentacles in 119 of them.
The other 2 he wasn't in.
Yeah.
So I'll send you a link, Alex. But anyway, I will say this: the one thing you will notice about Osric is they pull influences, kind of like you guys. They pull influences from all over the world, not just from music, but from regions. It's a regional thing. So I think you're doing much the same, just in a different direction, which is fine, because that's the great thing about creativity. I just had this discussion because I do artwork on the side, and I have a real, we all have real jobs, quote unquote, but I've just decided I'm going to try something new. I'm going to do something, not so many flaming swords, rotting skulls, and whatever. I'm going to do something kind of psychedelic and happy and trippy, and I found that I can do those types of things. So but still, then now I make the zombie skull look psychedelic. So now I'm cross. I'm doing cross genre artistically, but I, that's the one thing I noticed about the video and the music is A, they fit perfectly together, and B, um, you were drawing on all different sources. It was really interesting. I think I don't know if you sent this to me before, but I love Bandcamp for this very reason. It's because when you hear a band, they say, if you like this band, you might like these guys down here. And I promise you, I've come across that video before, uh, several months ago. And like all of us, we're all so busy with regular jobs in life that sometimes we don't spend the time we want to on things. But I distinctly, when I saw that and the white cloaks or whatever, and the dark background, and then the heaviness of it all, I thought I've seen this before. And then that riff, like Rob said, that riff just keeps churning in my head, for the lack of a better term. But anyway, I'll go back as soon as we're done, and I'll go listen to it again. But anyway, Greg, Greg. All right, Grego.
He had to say it.
Yeah, I had to say it.
So, Carcass, Scott, what was your thought
on the video?
Yeah,
I just thought it was very professional. I really quite enjoyed it. So, but to be honest, I only watched it once. I listened to the song several times, but after I watched the video once, then it was just playing the song over and over again. And like you guys, it's kind of got that riff just kind of gets stuck in your head, which is, I mean, to me, that's called a hook. And a hook is a good thing because it makes the song memorable. A lot of bands forget about hook, and they're all about being as brutal as possible or as fast as possible, and they leave the hook out. And well, without the hook, it's just kind of forgettable. So yeah, I thought it was I thought it was good enough that the first video you sent me that I was like, oh, I got to send this to Rob and John and see what they think. And obviously you're talking to us now, so we all liked it.
Yeah. No, I think it was.
I'm very happy you enjoyed, guys. Very happy.
I have a question that has nothing to do with music, but because you're in Ireland, I have to ask it because I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fan. Have you seen the Philip Lynott statue there?
I actually probably saw it one time, but I mean I'm in Cork, so I'm in
South ways.
Yeah. So, yeah, and no, I mean I went probably one time, and I don't remember. Of course, here is a legend. I mean, Thin Lizzy is everywhere. I mean, is of course they are our Metallica. Let's say this, and even actually they inspire Metallica. So anyway, it's a kind of band that they were so much important for the music scene in the past. So I really would like to dig more inside the Thin Lizzy music, because this is something that is for my generation is came over. I mean, earlier than all the heavy music started. Okay, so you can understand your region if you don't listen to Thin Lizzy and all these bands that influenced all the next generation of metal bands and rock bands, and it was absolutely unreal for that. And but I'm just 10 years here, so I have more time to do it. So maybe
Right
one
on.
day my son is gonna tell me, "Oh, you have a record of Thin Lizzy that do you want to listen?" So
But yeah, the other thing, John was talking about Italian metal bands, and the first one that came to mind when he said Italian metal bands to me is Labyrinth. Are you familiar with them?
I know them very well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
And
you probably, if you don't know them, Rob, you probably dig them. They're very progressive power metal.
And also, John was actually, talking about a lot of metal bands before that. I say, Jesus, I have to dig more in the metal Italian scene because I really don't know most of them. So is really, is in Italy there's another nice scene for that, and also more kind of popular one. There's Lacuna Coil that is actually another Italian band that was trying to do things and they're very popular in the US. And but talking about the sound, I want just to add something that is very important. These songs that sound so great, also because we work with an unreal producer from Liverpool called Tom Peters, and from the math rock band called Alpha Male Tea Party. And I had the pleasure to work in the last all the last releases of Narrow Records went out with him. And when I this is actually my first one as an artist working with him, and I was kind of scared before, I mean, starting the production process, but it was super because it was the first time in my life properly where I worked with a producer of a different level because you really, particularly working on the guitars, he's a real guitar player, and all the guitars were done in a majestic way. Not only about recording, but also about parts, about going through. Is one of the scene I will remember forever of the recording. It was himself, sitting down with tons of pedals in front of him and say, "Okay, what are you gonna do now?" I mean, like a chef with different ingredients and try to make the best dish ever, and uh, and the ability to do it right, and it was phenomenal. It was 13 days of recording in a row. It was great, and of course the consistency of the song is coming from his skills as well. So I owe a lot to that guy. So it's brilliant. Tom
Awesome.
Peters from Alpha Tea Party. Tom Peters Production. Check it out. So
Oh yeah, we were talking before we went live that the production is just fantastic, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that. But do you guys have any parting shots for Alex before we wrap it up?
Not really. I look forward to the future. And once again, my house is your house. You guys, you show up in town, and we're gonna go right in there, 15 feet from where I'm sitting right now. And
I've been there. It's a cool place. You would love it.
Yeah, it's a nice big place.
So,
guy, I
but yeah,
promise you, I will come over to play for you.
all right. Well, I appreciate the fact that being in a band is really is a real commitment, and it's not easy, and especially for a band that wants to succeed for the right reason, like you already mentioned. People ask me all the time, "Hey, I want to start a band. What do you advise?" And I say, do it because you love the music, not because you're trying to make a buck, because you probably won't. But there are a lot
It's
of
a bonus. If you make a buck, it's a bonus. But if you
Sure.
love the music and you love what you do, you'll continue to do it.
And it's not like you're trying not to make a living or getting paid to do. You don't want to work for free either. But man, I think that it's obvious that you guys love doing what you do. So I'd say keep it up. And I can't wait to hear what the next thing you're going to drag into your like you said. What ingredient are you going to take off the shelf and add to the mix?
I have I got something cool I want to show it that has nothing to do with this whole show, but I just really am excited about it. I want to show it. So,
Go for it.
Y'all know who the Galactic Cowboys are, and Monty Calvin is the bass player. He's also a fantastic artist. Check this out.
Cool.
The Monty Colvin print of Steven Tyler.
Wow.
But wait.
There's more? Oh, no. That's killer.
They're all in bags. I don't want to get fingerprints on them, so.
Oh, wow.
Are those not awesome?
Those are awesome.
They are awesome.
And they're all they're all personally signed by him on the bottom. So
Cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is very
Right
cool.
on.
Sorry, I had to share those because I was excited about them.
You're gonna need a bigger house.
We usually do that. We usually do that at the front, but we don't want to keep our guests waiting. We go through and talk about new albums we've picked up, and we try to read Carcass's shirt, which says Funebrarum. Easy.
I told you I was gonna go easy on you this year.
Thank you. Yep. Oh, that's another band that we found out about was Stone Trip from Australia. I sent out we just exactly like this. The PR firm sent an email to me. I loved the song, and we had them on and got to know. So we knew a little more about those guys going into it, but I'm glad you got that, Scott.
Yeah, I just came in and it sounded fantastic. Stone Trip from Australia.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, I think we've kept you long enough. It's late. You need to get some sleep, brother.
You don't want to get you tired.
No.
No.
I'm going to go play the riff about 10 more times tonight. So go on the Metal Roundtable Facebook page. Check out the Last Vinci. I put up their link tree there so you can go check out all things Bandcamp music and merch and what they're going to be up to. So I highly recommend the band. It is a little bit outside the box for us, but I think it is heavy enough that a lot of you that dig heavy melodic, kind of moody, brooding music, I think you'll really dig it. So check out the Last Vinci, the new animated video for Falling. I'm going to say this wrong. Say it again, Alex.
Falling from a Mountain of Joy. So.
Falling from a Mountain of Joy. Yes. The brand new animated video just came out within the last few days. Check that out. And I look very much forward to the album. Alex, thank you. It has been a pleasure, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay in person again someday.
Stay in touch by email or whatever. Let us know what you're doing, and we'll keep everybody updated on the show as well.
Cool. All right. That's it, boys. So until next time for episode 121 of the Metal Roundtable. Metal will prevail. Now, this is the part where I scramble to go look for the outro, and here it is.